And Friday night, John Edwards admitted to having an affair with Riley Hunter, but his interview left us with more questions than answers. First, is it actually possible that Edwards had no knowledge of alleged hush money being paid to his ex-mistress? Second, why is Hunter ruling out a paternity test? And finally, why did the mainstream media ignore the scandal for so long? Joining us now is former Romney spokesman Kevin Madden and the author of Uprising, syndicated columnist David Sirota. David, how are you? Have you been on the show before?
I have not been on the show.
Well, I'm surprised you're not campaigning for your old friend Al Franken. Welcome to the program.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
All right, let me ask you very quickly. First of all, if you remember the New York Times, they ran this article about John McCain. There was no evidence whatsoever of this alleged relationship. Here we had pictures of John Edwards and eyewitness testimony that he barricaded himself in the bathroom and met this woman at 2:30 in the morning, and still the media ignored it. Is there, what I always say, a liberal double standard?
Well, I don't think so in this case. I mean, I think this is more a reflection of John Edwards wasn't running anymore. He wasn't relevant as relevant anymore.
So, but he was a contender for VP.
Well, I mean, he hasn't been a real contender for VP, I don't think. And I say that as somebody who liked John Edwards. But I just think this wasn't a front-page story because he didn't win. He lost a long time ago.
Yeah. Well, you know, Kevin, I can imagine. Certainly, I think Mitt Romney would be a great choice for Senator McCain. You were helping to run the Romney campaign. Why do I believe if it was Mitt Romney at 3 in the morning barricading himself in a bathroom, he had a picture of him holding a baby with a woman that was not his wife, that'd be a big story.
That was the great thing about working for Mitt Romney. I knew that story I was never going to have to worry about. But look, you're right. If this were any other Republican, I think that the press would have gone after this story with a greater deal of gusto than they did. I mean, let's look back to August of 2006 when the whole Mark Foley scandal struck. I mean, that was a story that everybody had on the front pages the next day. Everybody could cover that thing all the way to the end.
Hang on, David.
But what about Newt Gingrich? What about Newt Gingrich? Newt Gingrich got a big. He was caught in an extramarital affair. He admitted it. It was almost no story. I mean, this was a guy who was having an extramarital affair during the Clinton
I think that was a story that was very well covered, David.
Let me ask one question. Howard Wilson raises the issue that he thinks that Hillary would have gotten the nomination if, in fact, this had come out earlier. And I disagree with my partner, Alan, here. I think there might be some validity to that, David. It certainly could have changed the game, especially if you look at the racial divide that existed in the voting blocks in the Democratic Party. If that continued to hold true, it could have been a factor, no?
So many ifs there, though. I mean, if he would have come, if it would have come out, would she have won Iowa, and then would she have gone on to win the nomination? I mean, I don't buy it. It's complete malarkey, especially when you consider the fact that Edwards was a change candidate and Obama was a change candidate. Hillary wasn't a change candidate, certainly not in Iowa.
Hey, welcome you both to the show. David, good to have you on the show. Kevin, I want to get back to this issue of somehow conservatives think they get kid glove treatment, or rather liberals get kid glove treatment from the media and conservatives don't. Bill Clinton, they were looking for bimbo eruptions back in 1992 when he was still a candidate. As David pointed out, Edwards was over. He wasn't going to get the nomination. I hear very few people talking about John McCain, who allegedly had an affair when he was still married, but that shouldn't be an issue. But nobody's really talking. That doesn't become an issue in this campaign. So Edwards wasn't even a significant player.
Well, Edwards, let me disagree with you and David on the fact that Edwards was not a significant candidate. When these allegations first surfaced, and a lot of us on the campaign trail and reporters that share information back and forth with sources, and you hear different things. I mean, these allegations have been around for a long time, and I don't think they were pursued with the level of intensity that they would have been if they were a Republican. Now, I think there's a reason for that. I think that many times the media, they tend to go after Republicans a lot harder because we're the ones that put front and center values issues, families issues. So there's always that angle of hypocrisy that reporters are looking to expose against Republicans. But let's be very serious here now, that we all know that these allegations were out there for a long time, and they weren't pursued with the same level of aggression that they would have been if it was a Republican.
As I understand it,
that is so ridiculous.
Go ahead, David.
That is so ridiculous. We're on Fox News Network, a network that made its name going after Democrats. I mean, we are on the Clinton impeachment. Talk about the idea
that his name going after Democrats.
Hey, David, how nice of us to let you on if we weren't fair and balanced. And by the way, the guy sitting next to me is not a potted plant.
I appreciate it.
So stop complaining.
I appreciate it, but what I'm saying,
we made our name by being fair.
Let him speak. Let David speak. Go ahead.
You guys go after people. Other networks go after people. I don't think, look, media wants to sell newspapers, wants to get ratings. I don't think this was a partisan choice. This was a choice that John Edwards just wasn't interesting. He wasn't as relevant as he was as a candidate.
By the way, the press went after Elliot Spitzer. They weren't easy on him. The press,
exactly.
You know, well, look, I mean, there are all sorts of templates we can apply, but I do think that, you know, given the fact that he was a presidential candidate, these rumors were out there, and they just wasn't given the same level.
He wasn't a presidential candidate.
I think we can all agree, David. David, we'll probably agree on a couple of things here, but look at this. We all know that the media missed this, right? And secondly, I think that the media now, they're going to try and make up for it. So I think we're going to see a lot of these unanswered questions.
All right, guys.
The media is going to go after it hard now.
We thank you very much for the debate.